All right, everyone, we have triple news with regards to the lexicon of like the Ukraine/Biden scandals that are going on right now, because they seem to have, over the course of less than 24 hours, become an order of magnitude more important. That is, first and foremost, we have Hunter Biden. Apparently, a court in Arkansas had ordered a DNA test because a woman was claiming he was credibly accused of having banged a woman there who said, well, my baby, you're the baby daddy, basically. And this is, I believe, and this is the funny part, during a period where Hunter Biden was, I guess, in between marriages and was banging the widow of his dead brother or something along those lines. So keep that in mind when you think about this money laundering crack smoker and what he's really been involved with, I suppose. Again, all allegations, I suppose. DNA test was ordered. They proceeded. Hunter Biden, you are the father. He had vehemently denied this. He had said, no, I never had sexual relations with this woman at all. We never even, did anything together. So it can't be my child. Go ahead and give me a DNA test. And I think what he inferred was that he thought she was banging around with multiple men and just said, well, there's a good chance it wasn't me. We only did it once, maybe twice. The condom broke, but, it's okay. And so there could have been some shenanigans going on there. And so I don't think he thought there was any risk, because otherwise why would he have ceded to a DNA test? And you're the child, the former VP, you get a lot of clout and stuff. You would have exercised that if you thought there was a significant degree of risk. So he's going to be facing child support and alimony payments, probably in the six-figure range, which is good, because then we've got a second piece of news. Burisma. Ukraine probe is now widening into Burisma. Apparently, grants to the total of 150 million or so were granted to Burisma, possibly improperly, to the tune of basically having conducted theft on the Ukrainian taxpayers. Whoops, that's funny. I thought Burisma wasn't corrupt and that was evil and it was a conspiracy theorist by evil pro-Russian Trump forces, if you said so. That the Ukrainians are investigating it anyway. And this is recent. Now, tied into that, one of the first groups to break that news, and I realize they used a Zero Hedge article that infers more into it than the actual stated report, but was BNL, Breaking News Live, a handle on Twitter. I've been a follower of theirs for a while. A very fast, up-to-date news. You do have to filter through some of the stuff, because sometimes it'll be from Mint Press or something. It's explicitly pro-Russian propaganda, in the literal sense, not even in the Ma-Russia sense. But then you get stories like this where, some parts of it might be wonky. I don't know if that particular part that they're talking about Hunter Biden being indicted is even in the initial report. But by and large, they're the ones breaking the news. They're breaking the news specifically because BNL is a pool of journos from different backgrounds that are capable of coming together to conglomerate material. This kind of confederated sort of syndicated system is what really, really frightens, by the way, the legacy media. They're terrified about note sharing among independent content creators or journos, people on the ground, people who do analysis, polls, whatever. They're terrified that they'll form new media conglomerates that are simply less reverential towards not swearing, less talking head-ish, less boring. They're afraid of us basically joining together on a regular basis. They always have been. That's why they're seeking to make sure to crack down as much as possible to try to prevent that technologically and legally from happening. With regards to the Burisma probe, though, it was widened. BNL reported on this, and they were banned. Now, Twitter banned them for, spam and botting behavior. I've been following BNL for a while. They don't spam, certainly. There's no particular reason you could possibly construe them as a spammy page. They don't tweet constantly. It's not every 10 seconds it reads out a different tweet and just recycles them over and over. No. You know what does it? Legacy media pages do that. They'll tweet the same story 7 or 8 times in a fucking day. BNL never did that. So there goes the spam. Botting? What botting? Prove it. Because I keep seeing claims of botting. Whenever somebody is inconvenient, it seems Twitter just bans them and says they were botting. By the way, the Krasensteins know this firsthand. I think one of them is now back on Twitter. By the way, the cat's still doing morning song time. Last night was nice and quiet, and the morning comes and, the cat's got to have a little kitty concert. In regards to this, BNL shouldn't have been banned. I have a feeling we're never going to get any corroboration that there was botting or actual spam behavior going on. They were attacked for breaking this story to knock them out of the way so the legacy media could break it. That's basically what happens. So people like me who literally knew about the story anywhere from 15 minutes to an hour and a half before everyone else was talking about it. That's the big problem. Twitter didn't want that to happen. Probably because of the part thrown in about Hunter Biden being supposedly named in an indictment. Again, I cannot corroborate or confirm that, but it shouldn't really matter. Oh, inaccuracy is a reason to get banned from Twitter now. You better get ready to ban CNN and Fox and all of these others, because half of what they put out is explicitly, totally, factually, and objectively wrong. Hunter Biden's the father. The Burisma probe is widened. By the way, doesn't this cast a little bit of a pall over the impeachment proceedings? By the way, and again, so far as I know, every single witness called by the Democrats has confirmed that they thought that there could be shady dealings going on in Burisma, should have been investigated, and that was fine. That's a little bit troublesome, at least for the Biden campaign. This is like Biden's darkest hour. So Joe Biden, he's a grandpa. Although his son swore up and down he never had any relations with the woman involved, while he was banging, the widow, I guess, of his dead brother. How did Beau Biden even die? Did he have some medical condition or something? He wasn't that old. He was middle-aged, I think. So his widow, I guess, shacks up with his brother, and that's, I guess they're living a biblical lifestyle. There's weird shit in that in Judeo-Christianity. Otherwise, generally, it's frowned upon to boff, widows of your relatives. It's considered weird. It's like, oh yeah, my brother had a great time with you in bed. Let me get some of that, because he had good judgment, so it must be great. So he's the father. He's fucked. Biden's fucked. I mean, you look at the Burisma probe. There's no way that this doesn't, at least in a roundabout way, negatively affect the Bidens, because public focus will be on it. I wouldn't be surprised if the Republicans bring this up in impeachment inquiries from here on out. Hey, the Burisma probe has expanded. What do you have to say about that? So you're saying that Trump, who arguably wanted investigations specifically for corruption reasons and didn't give a shit about the Bidens at all, was he wrong or was he right? Oh, well, he was right. Well, that's going to put a big hole in the ship of impeachment, so to speak. It's a crazy day. I thought it was funny, though, when it was revealed that Hunter Biden was actually, had fathered a child out of wedlock while screwing around, I think, behind his wife's back with his brother's widow. At first, I didn't think it was real. I figured it was like an Onion story. It was troll bait. It was something that was put out by a literal fake news, like a Babylon Bee satire piece or something, just to sort of cast ire on the Bidens. And I figured that, it was an internet game of telephone, and that it was coming to me through a different source that had been hoodwinked. Then I did some more digging, realized it was real, and had a good chuckle. Really funny times we live in. But BNL should be restored. But don't look for Twitter to restore them. They'll never give a justification to BNL or any of the writers that work with it or anybody else interested in the story. They will never explain how they arrived at the conclusion that there was spam or botting going on. Because there wasn't, quite clearly. That's about all. Peace out.